Foreign Minister's statement and how this impacts on Quad ministerial meeting. Some of the important points made by the Indian Foreign Minister in his statement were: firstly, like-minded countries should have a coordinated response to the challenges that the pandemic has brought. Now, this is what India has been wanting to put across, but a point to note is it is said that like-minded nations. Now, what does it mean, like-minded nations? Some people may interpret it that it may exclude or include China. We'll have to make our own observations. Second, reform of the multilateral institutions. Now, this is a important theme which India has been harping on for some time, that it wants the multilateral institutions, particularly the United Nations Security Council, to be reformed, and it has also taken the opportunity during the Quad to highlight this. Vibrant and pluralistic democracies with shared values. Now, as India as well as other nations have been saying, the Quad is actually a partnership of democracies. Now, this is what has also raised the hackles in China. They say, why only democracy? That means in a per se you are excluding China if you say democracies, and that is where the Chinese have their apprehensions, I suppose. The next aspect, of course, which we already discussed, a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. A rules-based international order was something which was emphasized by our Foreign Minister, Dr. Jaishakar, who says rule of law, transparency, freedom of navigation in the international waters. Now, some of these have been mentioned in the previous meetings and statements as well. An important part of the statement of our Foreign Minister was respect for territorial integrity and sovereignty. Now, this part of the statement was not there in the statements of the United States or other countries, or for obvious reasons. But the interjection of this has come in due to the standoff in Eastern Ladakh, and this is a very obvious sort of interpretation. This is also appended by the fact it has said that peaceful resolution of disputes. So he has also emphasized that whatever dispute is there at present between India and China, as well as the boundary dispute, should be resolved in a peaceful manner. Advancing the security and economic interests of all countries having legitimate and vital interest in the region. Again, you see the nuances of these words have to be measured against, you can measure it against a certain state or not, but the various aspects such as legitimate and vital interests. Which state does not have a legitimate and vital interest? So it is something which has been oft repeated. Now let us see what has been the Chinese response to Quad in general. I am not talking of the Chinese response to Quad meeting on 6th of October, because this response, the official response, is yet to come, and we'll wait and watch and we'll discuss it possibly at a subsequent period. But Quad in general, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, just before the Quad meeting on 28th of September, he says, multilateral and plurilateral cooperation should be open, inclusive and transparent. No one should seek an exclusive clique. So the Chinese see Quad as an exclusive clique. Now, was the word or the phrase inclusive in the Indo-Pacific statements a reason to explain to China, look, this is not an exclusive clique, it is an inclusive one, but of course inclusive with respect to the democracies. Then the Chinese statement says efforts should be made to enhance regional countries' mutual understanding and trust instead of targeting a third party or harping third parties' interests. So it is alluding that the Quad is trying to harm the third party's interests, and the third party obviously being China itself. And finally it says, we hope that the relevant country will proceed from the interests of regional countries and do more things conducive to regional peace, stability and development instead of the contrary. This is a reference to the United States. So this is what the Chinese statement. Prior to this, we will see what is the official reaction. I could not catch it before we came for this, so maybe it has already come, but we will come and discuss it maybe at a subsequent time. So we come on to our central question as to see whether Quad is an anti-China alliance or is it a pursuit of the parallel interests by all the four states? This is a dilemma which is being faced. China is openly saying antagonistically that this is an antagonistic alliance, but we will let us try to analyze in a much more coherent manner. As far as we see so far, and we have discussed Quad development from 2007 to 2020, there are conflicting trends so far. There is no clear indication that this is a partnership which is built against or to contain China. Firstly, it is evolved into a ministerial forum, but it is in a ministerial forum of dialogue. It does not have any formal structure. Tomorrow it could firm up as a formal structure. It would become a multilateral and a much wider forum, but we do not know. As of now, it remains a multilateral, quadrilateral forum of democracies. It's not even a multilateral forum. So some say it is a talk shop, but it is much more than a talk shop. Some of the leadership meetings have also been held, though not exactly in the manner of Quad forum, but India, Japan and United States leaders have held meetings on the sidelines of G20 and other forums. To that extent, some coagulation has taken place. At the same time, you can see that each country seems to be expanding its own interests, either unilaterally, singly, bilaterally or multilaterally. For instance, the Indian statement has emphasized on multilateralism, whereas the United States Trump administration has no qualms in dismissing multilateralism as something of the past, and it wants to go the unilateral way. The second, India has also emphasized on the need for a rightful place in the multilateral forums such as United Nations Security Council, and so to that extent the unilateral agenda has been fostered. Australia is looking at the fostering its own agenda as the larger agenda in the Indo-Pacific and the diplomatic and the economic sphere. What I would say is that the ambivalence between the four members is likely to continue in the near future, whereas United States being centrally focused, and one cannot at present envisage this as a forum which is designed to contain China. However, having said that, one would say that China will continue to see Quad as a threat, because the geographic alignment of the Quad states is such. Four big powers which are surrounding China, it will certainly feel threatened, even though the Quad states are emphasizing that this is a forum which is meant to be with the ASEAN centrality, and it has nothing to do with the geographic encirclement, say. What will determine the trajectory of Quad will be the trajectory of the US-China relations after the presidential elections on 3rd of November. We do not know yet as to what will be the nature of government which will come in, though the trends say that the challenger, former Vice President Joe Biden, is leading, but elections happen in such a way that predictability is difficult. So let us wait and watch. At the same time, there is also a heat for the military compact, that is Exercise Malabar, to include Australia into this. India has been resisting because India is the core plug or hub, so to say, for Exercise Malabar, initiates all Exercise Malabar actions. So India has so far not sent an invitation to Australia, and I don't think Australia at present is also interested in being part of Malabar, because Australian foreign minister appeared to be saying that we should go in more for diplomatic engagement, so which appears that military wise it may not be as much keen to join. So is India going to be willing to invite Australia? The Malabar is going to be held in the month of November and December. We'll have to wait and see. Is there any correlation between Quad and India's greater participation